People of God, people of God, people of the living God. Y'all doing all right? Good to see y'all out there. Today we're going to talk about some finances, all right, as it pertains to this woman called Eryka and her Badus. I'm going to talk about a post that I put up on Facebook about how she mentioned it is better that you all don't tithe, but that you invest. And if you do that, there'll be millionaires out there, more African-American millionaires. I agree with her, but I also want to focus on the comments that came on Facebook on my wall from people who right away attacked her instead of focusing on what she said. This should be a quite interesting show, and I ain't even eat yet. I see y'all in 60.
Reporting live 7 days a week, always on time, but this time is not free. So Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics have you jumping out your seat. Controversial subject, others can't touch it. Community full of people throwing rocks from the bunker. Politics, finance, music and religion, stirring up the pot, but they bring healing to the village.
Son named Walter, daughter named Rebecca. Grew up on the south side, who know do it better. Sir Walter Jones from the Tribeca. He got something to say, put your hands together.
Sir Walter Jones, hey.
Sir Walter Jones,
hey.
Yeah, come on in, the water's fine. The water's fine. Ooh, he's got something to say.
Come on in, boys. The water's
Yes!
Ow!
Hello, everybody. So Walter Jones Show. I'm here. It is the Midday Connection, baby. Come on in, Wi-Fi. Y'all doing all right? It's so good to see you. All you out there, bunkers. It's good to see all of y'all. It's a whole bunch of y'all out there. Blessings. It cost me everything. You saw them comments. Who is this, by the way? who you be is? Because, YouTube likes to change your names. Man, let me tell y'all. Eryka to the Badu. Demi TV have been posting quotes from people. If this was a true quote from her, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. I loved it. You went to Grambling State with her, Dwayne. Wow. And let me show it to you all. For those of you who are not on my Facebook, right here. Oh, hey, Yolanda, that's you. Eryka Badu says we'd have more black millionaires if black people invested 10% instead of paying tithes. Okay? We'd have more black millionaires. That is one of the most truest comments I've ever seen. One out of the several that I've made from somebody who black. Okay, it is absolutely true. We'd have a whole bunch of millionaires today, and these churches would not be begging so heavy if we was investing. All right. Then if you invest good, you can actually tithe to your church, but you can tithe in a way unlike scripture tithing. You can't tithe by scripture standards. You just can't. All right. Glass, I'm clutching my pearls. All right. So
I often joke.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the post in question, and I'm going to show you all. I'm going to show you all on my Facebook page some of the comments, and boy, were they wild. Wild, I say wild. Now, most of the people agreed with her. All right. There was 124 plus responses, likes, or what have you. 15 people shared it. And Eagle Man, Art Lewis, Kendall, Pitts, Karen. All right. And what you will see is, and I'm going to read David A. Rogers in full. Okay. But what you're going to see here is that some people were saying, she's a witch. Even Alvin Carter said, ain't that a witch? Yeah, they went right to the witch thing. Ain't that a witch? Okay. Witch. Let me say something to you all. Come close. I'm always fascinated. Raymond Perry, good to see you, sir. I'm always fascinated by how we defend a culture, a church culture. If you all are not into mental health studies, you would not understand why we examine people the way we do by using words like cognitive dissonance and biases. And people are looking for a way out because they've been pushed in an alley and there's nowhere to go. And so they come out fighting, and no matter what you got, if you got something in your hand, you're going to swing it. If you don't, you're going to bite, you're going to spit, you're going to scream, you're trying to get out. This is typically how people are when they get pushed with a truth. That's what cognitive dissonance is. When they're pushed with a truth, what they do is they lean back on their culture and they lean back for relaxation because that's all they know. Never exploring away from that little hole there. They don't explore out. They just lean back on their culture. So then what they do is they will attack like MAGA do for Trump. Trump put up this post that we talked about yesterday of him with Jesus, and his vice president says, y'all can't take a joke. Trump was like, well, I was trying to be a doctor. No doctor looks like that. MAGites was like, Trump, that's Trump, God is still working with him. If anybody else had done that, they still be talking about it right now. Nonstop, 24 hours a day, talking about Barack Obama if he did the same thing. So when we talk about MAGites and those people over there following Trump, we don't see that we do the same thing when it comes to something in our churches that we do that's cultural. And tithing is one of the biggest fights that we have. Tithing, speaking in tongues, using terminologies that we typically use, decreeing and declaring, and soul tie, and generational curses, and what is it? What's the other one? Pleading the blood. All these terminologies that we use, we defend it to the very end. It's our honor to defend it. So the way to defend someone going after your tithing is to character assassinate them. Eryka Badu has out of her own mouth said, I'm a witch. So I get the comments about the whole witch thing because she says that's what she is. So if she had not said she was a witch, they would have said, okay, how y'all listen to a woman who's not saved? They would have found something else. But yet you can't even see that you're getting advice from the world all the time. And you never, especially if this advice is something that you need. Your doctor ain't saved. He never said he was. He never called on the name of Jesus while you in his office. He never prayed with you. Nothing. And whatever he say, you would adhere to it. And it's your body. It's your body. Do you understand? You got one body, one life. That's it. And you will adhere to your doctor more than anybody on the earth, including Holy Spirit. Your lawyer never said he was saved. I mean, your school teacher never said they were saved. Your barber never said he was saved. I mean, your grocer never said it. You get advice from people from all over the world. Your boss, you're all over the world from people, because they're giving you something that you can benefit from. But with her, you had to call her a witch because she was attacking your culture of tithing. You understand? So that's all you had to say. She's a witch. So I can't listen to a witch, even when the witch tells me the truth. The witch is telling you something I've been telling you forever. Cognitive dissonance. It's a disease that is running rampant in our church. Come on, Raymond Perry. This is bad. So once we got past the whole witch comments in the comment section, I says, okay, now that we know that she's a witch, because she said she's a witch, and Pitt says she also heard her say something opposite. Well, it don't matter what she is or what she is not. She told the truth. Now let's talk about what she said. This is why some people cannot evangelize on the street. They cannot, because they have what's called church brain. It is almost impossible for some people to go out on the street and win souls. It's difficult because they're going to bring Pentecostalism, Baptist, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Kojic, Apostolic. They're going to bring that church brain out there in the street, and you're going to run back in the church crying like the sons of Sceva, who was invoking Jesus' name, trying to cast the devil out. And they was like, Jesus, I know, but Paul, I know too, but we don't know who the poop you are. And they left there bleeding. Okay. Some of y'all are not good at this whatsoever. So instead of attacking this woman who is so-called a witch, can't you sit down as an intelligent person and talk about what she said? Nope, you can't do it. Why? Because she attacked your culture. It's like a woman who just had a baby, and that baby is ugly. That's an ugly baby. How many of y'all seen some ugly babies? I've seen some ugly babies. All right. But you're looking at that baby and you want to say, you know, the baby is ugly. So you say, that's a special baby. Wow, that baby got all its toes. And look, that baby got 2 hands. 2. Hold it up again. Cheryl, hold it. Wow, the baby got 2 hands. That's amazing. And he got a nose and 2 eyes. Wow. What a special baby. Because you can't say the baby ugly. And this is what's happening with the people in church who try to attack somebody's character, is because the person is saying to you, that's an ugly baby. When they attack what you believe, they're saying, mother, that's an ugly baby. That baby is breathtaking, Glass. You understand? So one comment I did enjoy. I enjoyed a couple of these comments. But Cynthia Dale said something here about obligation. Okay. What does she say here? My baby, what? My daughter looked like Mr. Magoo. But she's so beautiful now. That is funny. All right, right here. Charity begins at home. Teaching investing is an enrichment that parents teach their children, then their grands. The Bible did teach us, render unto to Caesar what's his, render unto God what's God. It's not the church building obligation. We are the church. Just my stance. All right. Now, she had more to say that was even more well-rounded. All right. So Cynthia her comment after that was pretty good. Now, she brought up some things that triggered some things in my brain from what I heard. Rendering unto Caesar was Caesar, and render unto God what is God. What is God's everything, right? So what we've done was we began to delve with, and you all didn't go to Patreon. Y'all not signing to my Patreon in the upper room. Yesterday we talked about this in detail. about covenant theology versus dispensationalism, and how you have to look at the scriptures and read it and understand it by reading it, by splitting the Bible into twos: the children of God, the Israelites, and the body of Christ, which is the church. You have to read it contextually this way, but at the end you have to put them all together, because when a Jew gets saved, he's saved just like me. There is no more Jew, there's no more Greek. We all are part of the body of Christ, all of us, including Jews. But when you read the Bible historically, you've got to separate it in order to understand it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I'm not a traditional dispensationalist, no, but there's some good points of it which help me understand the scriptures. Now, when it comes to dispensationalism, the people who are against it are the ones who are for it, because they keep bringing up Old Testament practices and putting it in your church. And tithing is that one thing. When you say, I don't believe in dispensationalism, I don't believe that there's the children of the Jews are God's chosen people, I don't believe it. Okay, fine. You don't have to believe it. But when you go into scripture, you use their practice. And you bring in their practice in your church, and it don't work because you don't know how this works. God gave that whole tithing thing, which was not a law at first, it was a culture, because pagans tithe before God made it a law. In the Middle East, it was customary to tithe. Abraham tithed to Melchizedek before God made it a law. He wasn't even Abraham yet. He was Abram when he tithed. But when he tithed to Melchizedek, who was Melchizedek? We believe he was a pre-incarnate Christ. He was tithing to Christ in the pre-incarnate state, because this Melchizedek didn't have a mother or a father. How could that be a human then? And this Melchizedek didn't have a beginning or an ending. How was that a human then? But this Melchizedek came in this personality, and what Abram did was he went to war and he won the spoils. He took the spoils of the booty of war. And what did he do with all that stuff? He took 10% of that. He took a tithe. A tithe means 10th part of it. And he gave that to this Melchizedek person, because when you tithe up. And so he gave that to a Melchizedek. But guess what he did with the 90%? He didn't even keep the 90%. He gave the 90% away to a pagan king. Huh? So it is impossible to tithe based off of Abram's tithing system of tithing, because way of tithing, that is, because you can't keep none of it. None of it. You can't. He gave it away. So God decided to take this custom and put it into the law so that the Levites and the priests could be fed. And the rest of it in the system, he said to give it to strangers and orphans and widows. We in our churches are trying to pick and choose which type of tithing system we're going to use. Some of you do it by Abram's. Well, you can't do it. Some of you do it by Malachi chapter 3. Well, there is no system of Malachi chapter 3. That is the curse. That is you, because you didn't do it by the original system in the law. Go to Deuteronomy and go to Leviticus. You can't do it. Go to Nehemiah as well. You can't do it those ways by going by Malachi chapter 3, because Malachi chapter 3 don't even tell you how to do it. It just tell you if you don't do it, you're going to be cursed. So you can't do it that way. There are no Levites in your churches, so you can't do it. So to try and pull in this Old Testament system into the way you're doing right now, then y'all are fighting over, do I do it from the gross, or do I do it from the net? Now you're finding yourself in a bigger problem. So now you all jacked up. You don't know what you're doing. She's a witch. Okay, she's a witch. Now, tell me, what did she say, and do you agree with it? Well, render unto God what is God, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. That's what that's not what Cynthia Dale is saying. She was correct in her other comment. So now we've got to figure out, why is it then, if we are tithing so much and so much money we've given down through the years, that we're still struggling? Come close. Why are you going against this witch about what she said, but not looking at your purse and your wallet and your bank account and saying, there's something to what she said. That witch said something. They didn't do this in the comment section. What did they do in the comment section? They attacked her character, whether she said it or not. And they says, I'm going to give regardless. But everything else we do has order to it. And everything else we do, we produce and have a return on in some kind of investment. If you cut somebody's hair, they pay you. If you do somebody's nails, they pay you. If you're driving Uber, they pay you. If you're working on your job, they pay you. If somebody's sitting in your chair and you're doing their hair, ladies, they pay you. When you go to the store and give them money, they give you something in return, goods sold. It's a barter system. Everything we do in the world, we do with knowing and can prove that the thing that I did, I get a return from it. Even when we sin, you get a return on your sin. Recompense. Do you understand? So everything you do in the world, you know that with every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. You are that smart. You are that intelligent to know. But when it comes to this one subject, just this one subject, that your mama, your grandmama, and your great-grandmama been teaching you, this one thing, and that's called tithing. That's the only thing I can think of in a Christian's walk where we actually think that we are literally giving God our money and we are receiving a return on it. And there's no way to track it. We can track everything I just mentioned. We got receipts, physical receipts on everything that I just mentioned. When you go to the store, they give you a receipt. But when it comes to this tithing thing, there is no receipt. And Raymond, when I was thinking about this show, I was thinking about that same thing, that we listen to people's music who we know ain't saved. We can hear it in their lyrics. These same people in the comment section calling her a witch, if you go to their phones and look at their playlist, they got a whole lot of sinners that they are dancing to with lyrics that are questionable. And some of those people are gospel artists who kept getting caught in scandals. But she's a witch because she attacked something so dear to you, something that you can't see a return on your investment. I'm amazed. And so then we can't even see how the system of tithing in Scripture, when it became a law, what did God make them use to give to the priests and the Levites? They didn't need money. God was their provision. They didn't own land. They needed what poor people need: food. When you're out on the street and you see the homeless, they don't need money. They need food. Food. When a homeless man say, "Can you get? I'm hungry. Can you give me?" I don't give him money. If there is a restaurant near us, typically there is, I say, "Let me walk you over here to this restaurant." I've literally heard them say, I don't like that food," and I say, "You ain't hungry." I don't like that. One guy said I had that yesterday. I don't like it. Well, you ain't hungry, and I will not give you not one red dime. Beggars can't be choosy. Your belly is crying, and you telling me you don't want to eat this because you don't like that? I'm sorry. That's us, y'all. That's us. So let me go to the investment part. David Rogers had a lot to say, and I told him I would quote him. All right, let's read what he had to say. Because we talked about the tithing part just a few minutes ago. Now we're going to talk about the investment part. And we could talk about what Dale said, the responsibility. Oh, let me go back to Dale. She said it's not the responsibility of the church to teach on investment. And guess what, you all? She's right. But yet I see a hole in her analogy here. Here's the problem with her statement, even though it's correct. We let the church teach us everything. You know you go to your pastor for everything. You got problems at home, on your job, at your school, everywhere, and you take your problems to the church, do you not? And you go straight to your pastor, do you not? And your pastor and your church, whether it's the elders, the deacons, or the mothers, what have you, they try to fix all your problems. I'm talking legal, I'm talking medical, I'm talking financial. The church have been bootlegging and impersonating all of these people, and you have let them. The mother's board told the young bride, don't let that man lick nowhere on your body, and don't you lick nowhere on his body. This is how you have sex. Let him climb on top of you. And you can kiss him in his lips, but that's as far as you go. Okay, mama. That's why her husband had been cheating on her for the past 40 years. Y'all let the church give you all kind of advice. So Dale was right. The church need to stay out of our affairs. But then that's wrong. Because there is a void in the house. There's a void there. The parents are not teaching. Yesterday in Chicago, the children decided to do a takeover in Hyde Park. Hyde Park, Chicago is where Barack Obama lived, okay? And if you live in Chicago, they go on YouTube and Facebook or Instagram or wherever they go, and they say, hey, we're doing a takeover. These teenagers, takeover. Bring your weed, bring your drinks. And typically hundreds of them show up at a particular place, typically at night when it finally gets warm, and they go and tear up the neighborhood. They jump on top of cars and they ruin, and then the police come and then somebody gets shot. That happens in Chicago a few times a year, especially when it gets warm. Yesterday, for the first time in Chicago history, I've never seen this done before, ABC, CBS, NBC, local affiliates decided to report on that because the parents decided we've had enough. So the organizers decide to call the parents to that same spot to meet the children who are going to do a takeover. So the parents did a parent takeover yesterday. I wanted to do it so bad, but I couldn't. I got locked in meetings. I was in meetings yesterday. And I said, oh my God, this is perfect. I want to do that. So the parents showed up in Hyde Park yesterday at 5 when those kids were supposed to be coming. Raymond Perry was there. And all of the news was there. Some of the kids showed up, but a whole bunch of them didn't. And y'all know what? It was effective. Not one gunshot. Nobody was jumping on cars because the parents were there, standing there. Hey, how you doing, young man? And they were approaching them and talking to them. And if 30 of them of the kids was walking, the parents went and started walking with the 30 kids, talking to them. Hey, so what are you doing? You know, is there an after school program you can get in? It was beautiful. We had never seen nothing like that before in Chicago. The next time it happens, I'm gonna be down there with Raymond. I'm going. If it's gonna be Bible study that night, I'm canceling Bible study. I'm going. Right? Was Mayor Mohawk there? He's the one that announced it. He was one of the ones who announced it. Okay, I'm going. Were belts involved? Why did I bring that up? Because what Dale said about the responsibility of the home. One of the guys who were interviewed said he was talking to one of the parents, and he was asking the parents, okay, why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? And the mother said, I'm going to be honest with you. I've lost control of this child. I don't know what to do with him. I've lost control. And he was like, I respect her honesty. And so he said, I had to get involved. The home is not teaching. All right? Here's my connection to Dale's comment. The home is not teaching investment. The home is not teaching how to pray. The home is not teaching, just not teaching. So now the parents who leave the home and go to church got to do it at the church. Yeah, he said it was something to see. Village, community. Raymond, let me know the next one. If I miss it, you got to hit me up and let me know when the next one is. The parents at home since they go to church, they now got to be more involved in church and helping them. My brother Larry spoke at a church. Let me find it. I thought it was commendable what that pastor did. He brought my brother in to talk about what my brother do. And that's investing. All right, Larry, where is it? Here it is, right here. Let me show it to y'all. This is Harvest Church in Hampton, Virginia. I'll get back to this other stuff. All right? Y'all like, that's not the responsibility of the church. It is now. It is now. All right, here. Let me go.
The hospital. This one said you met them at the restaurant. He said, all of these people are members now and serving. Simply because I spilled the tea.
Church. They had praise and worship. They had announcements. They brought Larry on stage. And he helped them. So it's now the church's responsibility. You know why? Because this is where the people are going for everything else. Y'all call the church a smorgasbord. It's everything there. So you cannot say, well, we can't talk about investing here when y'all talk about everything. The white church have ministers there or non-ministers, those who might have been struggling with some kind of addiction. They have services there at churches. I went to a white church here in Chicago, in Indiana, where there was 2 services going on. One was a general service, and the other one was for addiction. In the other building, those who were struggling with alcohol and drugs, they were having a service. And who was heading it? Someone who was who had recovered from it. They had marriage. They had married couples service. They had obviously youth service downstairs. It do belong in the church because that's where the community go. You gotta understand what I'm saying? So if that's all you doing is talking about tithing at your church and then you cursing people because they're not giving 10%, you also are telling them now that I took your 10, you are telling them what to do with the 90. You know where the 90 is being stole from you during these not just offerings. And that I'm not calling y'all giving to the church theft, but when you are telling them, ooh, let me see, whose video did I just see? Candace Owens. Was it Candace Owens? No, it was the cusser. What's that boy name? Let me find it. What's the boy from Jamaica who loves to cuss, but he can impersonate Donald Trump and all these other people? What is his name? Let me see. Where is it? It was quite disgusting, but we're used to it. But when I put it on Patreon, when the world see this kind of stuff, y'all. What's that boy name, y'all? What that boy name? It was a short, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a short. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody give me his name. The Jamaican boy. He's hilarious, but he got a potty mouth. Man, I have to go on my Patreon and see if I can find it. There was a guy got up there and he was pointing to a guy and at the altar call, I think it was, he says, "Give me $20,000. God said, you got $20,000. Thank you. Godfrey. That's his name. Let me see. I'm on my page. Here it is, right here. Godfrey. Is he from Africa? Okay, I've said, what did I say? Bahamas, right here. Right here.
Checking out this video on a church. I like watching church videos. And you know, religion has made so much money. Religion makes so much money, man. I mean, every business makes money, but the nerve, these preachers are insane. This video made me go, now, I mean, he's literally going, yo,
I stand as a prophet, one of the most notable voices in prophecy today.
I'm like one of the best prophets of prophecy today. What? This is insane. And he's like,
I want you to release a seed tonight of $20,000 into the kingdom.
I need a $20,000 seed. See, there's a way you say it. You can't just go, hey guys, I need $20,000 right now. You got to go, I need a $20,000 seed.
I want you to release a
$20,000, y'all. And I bet you he found it. I bet you he found it. Thank y'all, Africa. I bet you he found it. So now, let me go back to Facebook. And let's look at David Rogers' post. Okay. Here's what he said. Nigerian, leave black people alone. All right. Yes, I called him boy because he called me boy, Robbie. You don't know our relationship. The hard facts, no matter what the size of the congregation, only 10% people tithe. 10% a tithe of people actually commit to giving anything. 10%. I see what he did here. All right. Y'all spend so much time and effort and banter on tithing when only less than 10% at almost all churches give a tithe. Yet it is the loudest. Whew. So that's a hard fact. He said, in terms of investing, the hardcore reality is there is enough information to learn how to invest on the internet that if they aren't doing it, they don't want to do it. There it is. Right there. The church being blamed for a person's lack of investment prowess is a reach. If I type in Google right now, investing millions of websites, YouTube channels, ebooks, workshops, etc., are going to pop up. If folk can Zoom, scroll social media all day, they can learn to invest. My church hosts free real estate seminars, which I have attended at his church, and credit restoration workshops. I've seen them done at his church. Do people show up? No. If we have a choir concert, do people show up? Yes. Do people drive to church in Mercedes, BMWs, wearing Gucci, Louis Vuittons, and Prada, living in $500,000 homes in the suburbs, that is? Yes. So that you could be a millionaire ruse if you didn't pay tithes is a superior form of deflection, he's saying. A Beyonce ticket is $4,000 and the stadium is packed. Never has Eryka Badu bemoaned the ills of spending $4,000 to have a woman pump her pelvis in their face for 2 hours to no financial benefit. Eryka has said nothing about the amount of money rappers spend on jewelry and weed and alcohol and billion-dollar industries. The porn and the stripping industries are destroying youth, and he goes on. He goes on and go on and on. If you don't agree with tithing, don't. It's that simple. The church doesn't have paid membership like the gym. And if you go to a church and they demand your W-2 in order to become a member, run out and there as fast as you can. Now, David Rogers is my dear brother. He used to be my neighbor up the street. And I've had him on the shows many times. He is a former police officer here in Chicago. And he is a financial wizard, and he has helped a lot of people get things that they didn't have before, that young man. But I have a problem with a couple of things that he said. Eryka Badu is my problem. She ain't my problem. It's how people are attacking Eryka for a post that she couldn't go into details with. It was just a post, a short one at that, a quote by someone else quoted her here. You're not going to get everything out of that little quote. So I'm going to do it for her. She is right. There will be more millionaires in America, black folks, if you would invest your 10% instead of doing a tithe. Why? I know people who have given $80,000 to the church over a 2-year period. And I made the mistake and asked them, do you have any investments in anything traditional out there? And they said, we do not. We don't. The church who receive tithes, many of them struggle. How do we know they struggle? Because when COVID-19 came and the government said, y'all got to shut this down, after they finally released that thing, that whole COVID thing, many of the churches couldn't survive after receiving tithes for 50 years from members. So if the church is preaching that if you give a tithe, that you will have no room to receive, men will give to your bosom, pressed down, shaken together, running over. If they're teaching that, the person who typically teaches wealth have wealth. Come closer. I used to watch these 1-900, what they call those, infomercials on TV. They come on late night, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, Carlton Sheets, and somebody selling some stupid stuff. Well, the stuff wasn't stupid. The information wasn't stupid, but they were stupid. Because most of the cats who was selling stuff on the infomercials wasn't doing the very thing they was telling you to do to become rich. They were selling you the program, but they weren't working the program. You understand what I'm saying? I can see the church likened to that. A pastor or who's ever up there telling you if you give this tithe, all this wealth is going to come your way. That man is living check to check. And that check to check is typically the church's check to check because he's on salary at the church. And if the church shut down, he had to sell. He can't. He loses his house. He can't sell his house because he don't own it. He loses his house. So typically, if somebody say, I'm going to teach you how to be rich, you better believe I need this person who's going to teach you how to be rich. I need him to be rich. Because you can't teach me how to be rich if you ain't rich. So if the church is teaching you all how to be wealthy by telling you to tithe, the church itself is supposed to be wealthy, right? That's not happening in America. It's not. Ask your church how wealthy they are. Because if a snowstorm comes and the members can't get to the church, they lose that offering because the people typically don't give from home. They give when they get into the church. That's why they spend so much time during offering. So they don't give at home. If they miss Sunday, they're not giving. They're not. So they want you to be in the building because they need you to give. So if the half the church can't make it that Sunday because of inclement weather or something happened, the church is struggling to make its bills. Wait a minute. If this is a tithe receiving church, then that church is supposed to be well off so they can miss a few Sundays and still make their mortgage. But when they can't make their mortgage, how are you a tithe receiving church? By telling them that they're going to be wealthy, and the person who tells you you're going to be wealthy is supposed to be wealthy themselves first. A person who is a chef supposed to know how the food tastes before he gives it to you all. So I see a problem here, and why aren't you all questioning your church? This is not making any sense to me. None. This is not adding up. It's not how any of this really works. So Eryka Badu was telling you all, if you count up what you have given to the church over the past 10 years, 10% of your earnings, look at all of the thousands of dollars you've given to the church. Can you imagine giving that money or sowing that money into an investment program or a product like the S&P 500? Can you imagine buying a mutual fund with that? That's called compound interest, you all. No bank does that. You don't even put your money in a high yielding online bank, which you can at least get 3%. I've seen 4%. Some instances, okay, on an online bank. They can pay you that interest because they don't have the overhead that those brick and mortar banks have. You don't even have that. So count up all the money you've given in tithing over the past 10 years and watch a big goop happens. The reason why you're doing it because, man, you've been manipulated in such an amazing way. It is the greatest manipulation. So if you went and did what Eryka Badu, the witch, says, your churches wouldn't have to worry about a mortgage. They would have paid that mortgage off. Notice what David Rogers says. He had investment programs at the church, and y'all didn't show up for him. I remember I was at a church and they said Dave Ramsey is coming. Well, his program was coming to the church and they're going to teach on the Dave Ramsey way of saving and making money and balancing all this stuff. And you know what they had to do? They kept announcing it each Sunday. And then the final Sunday they says, it's been canceled. Can y'all tell me why was Dave Ramsey canceled? Can y'all tell me why she canceled? So what you all are doing, you're focusing on a witch and what she said. But you're attacking her because you can't see. You see her, but you can't see the information was correct. So guess what y'all gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. After this show, you're not gonna do nothing. That's it, Carol. They canceled it because nobody signed up. And yet the church is still struggling. Nobody signed up. If you equip the people in their homes, then whatever's at home, they're going to bring it to the church. If they're bringing their bodies to the church, they're going to bring their wealth to the church too. And if they bring their wealth to the church, they're going to make sure that this church is debt free. So they had to cancel the program because the church, but when they brought in a popular soloist to the church that following week, you couldn't get in there. You couldn't get in there. Everybody liked a nice song, especially by somebody famous. You couldn't get, I had to park 5 blocks away. Couldn't get in there. Eryka Badu is right. Say what you will about her character, the way she dressed or the lack thereof, her lyrics, how she hates the church, all that. You can do all you want to, but her post is correct. And after this show, you're not going to do nothing that I said. Nothing. You have Donald Trump in office right now. And there's some pros and cons to that man. Pros and cons. Whole bunch of cons. But there's some pros there too. Financially, there's some pros. Donald Trump made a whole bunch of people wealthy. So maybe you ought to examine, how did he do that? Why did he do it? And can I duplicate it? Don't mean you're going to be wealthy, but can I get a little bit of that? You won't do it. You stuck at church. And you on social media saying she's a witch. How long am I going to dwell with you here? How long? So, compound interest is an amazing thing. The bunkers and I are doing it right now. We're doing compound interest. I've signed up about 15 bunkers on my Patreon. We talked about that whole thing. I signed them up, and their money's already doubled. You know why it doubled so fast? Compound interest. I saw them use a penny when I was in grammar school, and they talked about the penny. And it says, if you had a penny, some of y'all might have seen that when you were in grammar school. It was brilliant. And I was like, I got so excited because I was like, man, I can become a millionaire in no time. They said, take a penny. Tomorrow, double the penny. The next day, double those 2 pennies. The next day, double those 4 pennies. The next day, double those 8 pennies. The next day, double those 16 pennies. They kept doing that. And before you knew it, you were a millionaire. They said, imagine replacing the penny with $1. And they showed us, in a shorter period of time, you became a millionaire. They says, this seems like this is not reasonable. This is not reality. But for those of you who may not know, it is much reality for those in the stock market. It's their reality. But it's difficult because of our fear, because we look at it as gambling. But when you give your tithe to the church based off of what you've taught, It's more gambling than anything you've ever done. You giving 10% of your income to a church with the hopes that you're going to get a whole bunch of money back is gambling. That's exactly what it is, gambling. You might as well go to the casino, put your money in there and do this. There might be a chance you get at least 10, 20 bucks. But when you give your monies to your church with the expectation that you're going to get a whole bunch of money back, that is the pure definition of gambling. Gambling is chance. Gambling is you don't know what's going to happen afterwards. When it comes to the market, you basically know what your return is going to be because you know how to calculate it based off of what you see on the screen. You graph it out. You can see it. But when you give your tithe, you get excited because something unexpected came, like $100 after you've given thousands. That's gambling. And you cannot attach tithing to somebody being healed of cancer. No, baby boo. For the same seed that you put in the ground, that's the same seed that come out of the ground. For the measure that you sow, that's how you're going to reap. So if you're going to reap, if you sow money in this thing, I'm not looking for apple seed to come out the ground. So you're like, no, I tithe and the Lord provided for me. I was able, to, I don't know, my hair grew or something stupid. Come on, y'all. Your hair grew because you got good follicles. If you want to know how compound works, look at how it has been affecting you in a negative way with debt that increases. Now flip that. John Hudson. The credit card industry, okay? Right here. The credit card industry is making good money on us. Ooh, they are racking up this credit card industry. They love us. They are making compound interest on us. When you charge something and you got a balance and you decide that you're only going to pay the minimum every month, you're going to be paying that minimum for years. And the credit card company love you. They love the ground you walk on. They love you. And they punish you when you charge this card and then pay it off by the end of the month. They don't like you. They're getting wise to that. Capital One are canceling cards or lowering your balances, your credit, that is. They're lowering it. So if you had $10,000 on your Capital One and you using it and you paying it off, you ain't got but $5,000 now, maybe less. Because they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing what we doing to you. And then they're giving you incentives by using the card and cash back and rewards. They're like, no, you're not gonna use us like that, like we use you. Compound interest. You being used. Why can't you use the system that's already out there? I take $200 a month and I put it into the S&P. Sometimes if I got $500 that I might have made extra, I put it in there. I don't care what the market is doing. I put it in there. Because I know the S&P 500 ain't going nowhere. It will survive until Jesus comes. It's been around since the 1700s. It ain't going nowhere. And I keep putting that money in. And it compounds every month. At the end of the year, I say, God, thank you. I have a 10-year plan for me. In 10 years, I'll be 70 years old. I'm young still for some of y'all who are up there. I'll be 70 in 10 years. I have a 10-year plan that when I turn 70 or before, I will never have to work again. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. You understand? You plan to fail. And your church will have all your money, all your generational wealth, and the church one day may close its doors. You can't go back there and get nothing. And you're going to look back and say, I gave that church hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I have nothing. That's your fault. Meanwhile, the guy next to you had a plan, a 10-year plan, 5-year plan. If you're young, you could have a 20-year plan. And when he turned that age of his plan, he's going to say, thank you, Lord. I was able to make this money and retire. I can still give to my church during the process to help my church to thrive. But I'm not going to give my church more than I give me. Even when it comes to tithing, there's 4 types of tithing. And one of the tithing systems in the Bible is the festival tithe, where you tithe to yourself. And it seems like the people who tithe don't ever tithe to themselves, even though the scripture said, this one here, you tithe to you. You won't even do that. So, if you have been tithing for many years and you're still struggling and wondering, gosh, I can't even make my rent, my mortgage, I can't, my car note, but I got to pay this tithe of the church. If that is your lot, the witch is correct. This segment today has really been eye-opening for me personally. Thank you. Amen. Glass, you're welcome. And I saw your comment earlier. Yes, it's on Patreon. We talk about this all the time. This stuff all the time in the upper room. Or you can email me. You can email me. For those of you who are like, okay, what compound interest thing are you talking about? You got 15 bunkers you didn't sign up and all that stuff? Listen, just send me an email. All right, the email not even on the screen. Moderators, give them my email, giftedfriends1@gmail.com. Just send me an email. That's all. I didn't come on here to sell nothing, but just since you asked. At, what is it? Where's the @ sign? Okay. That's me right there. Mm-hmm. So how long are you going to just continue to just say, don't listen to this person? That person has moved on, and they're doing pretty good while you saying, don't listen to that person. They doing good, y'all. While you going to sit there and still be behind. Nothing to show, and even demand a charge from the family for the member's funeral. Listen, I'm tired of your GoFundMes. I'm tired of your GoFundMes. I'm so sick of your GoFundMes. I really am. I'm really sick of it. Especially if you're a certain age and you got capable children too. I'm sick of your GoFundMes. When you die, they can't afford to bury you. And you've been working in church. You've been going to church for how long? I know bishops who, when they died, the family couldn't afford to bury them. When they died, the family couldn't afford to bury them. They were bishops in the grand old church. And that same bishops, I said it right, were the ones saying, give your tithe and offering. If you do it, God's going to open up a window, pour you out a blessing year after year after year. But when he died, they couldn't afford to bury him. And they had to have and then when they finally did a funeral, they had to collect money at the funeral. What does that say about the church? It's sad. If you got one child, you need to have life insurance. Life insurance is cheap. It's one of the cheapest things you can invest in is life insurance. Y'all put the email in the comment section, please. I just put it on the screen. I'll do it again. Life insurance is one of the cheapest things you could do. There's my email on the screen there. Give to friends. 1@gmail. One of the cheapest things you could do. When I started paying life insurance, I was paying $15-20 for like $75,000 life insurance when I first did it years ago. Cheap. I'm older now, obviously. It's different. Still, it's not very expensive. And people look at life insurance as if, man, I'm going to be paying it until I'm 80, 90 years old. You can walk outside and get hit by a truck. Is that your reason for not getting life insurance? Because you think that I can save this money. I'm going to live forever. You got to stop playing with yourself. If you got one child, you need life insurance. Come on, Elaine, you better practice what you preach. I got 2 children and 3 grandsons that came out of them two children. You best believe I pay my it's automatic. My life insurance is paid automatically. I don't even worry about it. They just take it out of my account. They've been taking it out of my account for years. That's one payment I never miss. I'm closer to the grave than I am the womb. My cousin died and he paid tithe and loved Jordans, but had no loved Jordans. Wow. They asked me my what for money, and I said sell his shoe. I mean, it's not funny, but the way you said it. All right. So if you emailing me, you put something in the subject matter so I know it's you. Don't if you don't put nothing in the subject matter, I don't know. All right. Listen to y'all. Listen really close. Pastors don't like the way I talk. David Rogers is a pastor. I felt his pain because the church is always under attack. But it's the church's fault why you under attack. Because the church do some dumb things. The church do some stupid things. And God raises up people like me to tell y'all, stop doing those stupid things. I don't tell y'all to stop going to church. I don't tell these churches to close the door. I don't always do that. But some churches, I tell you, shut the doors. Close it. You're done. Because you're robbing the people, especially these single mothers. You're robbing them. Shut that church down and combine your church with another church, and y'all help these people that's there. The world do it. Why can't you do it? So they hate me because I'm messing with their bottom line, but you're robbing the people by telling the people that they're robbing God. You're robbing the people. And the day is going to come, you pastors going to stand before judgment. And God is going to say to you, what have you done to my people? You robbed them. of their wealth. You're responsible for people being impoverished. The black church is part responsible for the African American community not having generational wealth. The black church is part responsible, and the homes is the other half responsible. And guess what? They're the same people, because the people in the homes go to the church, and then the ones in the homes are the ones preaching at the churches. They're the deacons. They're the elders and the ministers and the mothers. They're the ones who are teaching it. So the church and the home is the same people. So you're saying, why are you beating up the church? I'm beating up the home as well as the church, because it's the same thing. Gail's had it right. We are the church. So I'm not beating up one. I'm beating up all of them because they all are one. One. So this is why these ministers are the ones who was calling Eryka Badu a witch, because it went against their bottom line. How are we going to pay our bills if these people are not tithing? That's the number one excuse. If you teach the people to invest, you won't have to beat them up about tithing. Number two, the earlier church didn't tithe. Tithing didn't come around until the 1800s. Like you all are deconstructing rapture. Y'all bringing up John Darby and all these other teachings, saying it's brand new. So y'all are deconstructing. Y'all going against that whole teaching of tithing. On rapture teaching, and you say because it's new. Well, guess what? The same guy who said it's new, so we don't follow it, we don't believe in pre-trib rapture, are the same people who are making you tithe and not realizing that tithing came around the same time John Darby came around. Same time. You're doing the same thing that you're saying we're guilty of. You're doing the same thing. You're robbing the people of their hard-earned money. And they have no way to trace their tithe giving. They have no way to trace it, meaning they can't see it. They're struggling. But you told them they're going to be wealthy, but yet they're just getting by. That is the deepest, most cognitive dissonance I had ever seen in any kind of reasoning. So get you some life insurance. If you don't have any, get it now. Somebody says, you can't afford not to tithe. Nigga, you can't afford not to have life insurance. How long you going to be nescient? You can't afford not to tithe. You can't afford to die, because they can't bury you. They can't even cremate you, because that costs money too. You notice when somebody die, it takes 2 months to bury him. You're like, dang, didn't he die last November? Y'all just now having the funeral? Yeah, they had to find a way to preserve the body. Man, I'm sick of y'all. I got a 10-year plan. 10 years. Now, I've been working my plan years prior, but now, 10 years. I had to play catch up. Because I'll be 60 in just a couple more months. 60. So I'm behind. Typically, you retire around 65. It used to be 63, and then it's 64, now 65, and 60. Okay, people can't even retire. All right, so I'm late. So because I'm late, I had to be aggressive in my investments. When I was 18, I could have been given $100, $200 a month, and I would have been retired. But because I started late a few years ago, I now have to triple my investments giving so that I can make it up. So by the time I turn 70, I don't ever have to work again. And I can live not on my gross, but I can live on the interest. And you live as if you're making, you're living like you do now. As long as your expenses are taken care of the month and you got a few dollars left, you live like that in your investment. In your retirement. Once you retire, you don't go splunging all over the place, traveling all over the world and buying all this kind of stuff. You are eating into your retirement fund. No, you live like you're living right now. Act like you're making whatever you're making right now. If you're making $70,000, some of y'all make a little less, $50,000. If you're making $50,000 right now, that's what you're going to make when you retire. You got much more money sitting in your account, yes, but you act like you're making 50 and you live like that. That's retirement, so that it can last until you die. You understand? So if you know that right now, whatever you're in your home and you know what your expenses are, and you need $400,000 to retire on. All right. Y'all know that's not a lot of money. So if you got $400,000, if that's my plan, in 70 years, I want $400,000, then I made my $400,000. And then every month I'm going to pay my bills from that $400,000 and do nothing else extravagant. I'm going to live like I do right now and let the interest continue to compound. You understand? I'm not saying I'm going to keep $400,000 in the stock market. No, but I'm going to pull a lot of that out and keep some of it in so that it can continue to compound every month. And I'm living off the interest. And I will live for the rest of my life. And then we will that down to my children. Plus, you hold on to your life insurance. You're good to go. So have you a 10-year plan? Whatever age you are right now. Some of y'all are in your 80s, so I get it. Get you a 5 to 10-year plan. And be aggressive as hell with it. If you wake up at the same time every morning, be aggressive with your investments faithfully every month. Don't miss it. You don't miss your you don't miss your credit card payment because you're afraid that you're going to get a ding and your credit report going to drop. You don't miss your credit card payment. You are faithful to the credit card companies. You don't miss a payment. Not once. So you should never miss paying you. Not once. I never miss paying me. Every month. And if I don't have it, I find it somewhere. I have to go in my breast purse or go, maybe somebody sat on my couch and I got to go in the cushion to see if there's some money in there. I don't miss paying me every month faithfully because I got a 10-year plan. I can't mess that up. So do I have money to give to everybody and loan money? No, I ain't got it. People come to me for money, I say, I ain't got it. You know why? Because it's in my retirement and I'm not pulling my retirement money out. No, that's for me. We're going to find another way to help you, but I can't help you in that area. We'll find another way. We're going to come together, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. We'll come together and help you with this. But my money in that retirement, I'm not pulling it out for you, not doing it. I'm not pulling it out for me. When there's an emergency, I'm not pulling my money out of that investment account. When there's an emergency, I have an emergency account. And that emergency account is the online account that's collecting at least 3% interest. That's the emergency account. So when the car break down, I'm not calling the insurance company because I don't want them to. I got a ding on my record from the insurance company. No, when something happens, or if I get a scratch or a ding or something like that, I'm not calling the insurance company every time that happens. No, I'm going into my emergency account. Even though my car insurance is high, I'm paying $307 a month for that. That's high. State Farm is high. They finally dropped my rate down a little bit because I'm older and the car is older. So it went from $350. I was paying $350, y'all, for that car. It went down to $297 or something like that. Thank God. And I wanted to drop even more because the car is getting older. But when they busted the windows out of my car, they bust the windows out my car. Do I have that here? Y'all remember when they did that? Right here. This happened 3 o'clock in the morning. Broke in. The alarm went off. Y'all saw that smoke coming out? That was my purifiers. It was like, hey, I'm still working. Yeah. Broke that window. Police came. He says, all right, we're going to write you up a report and you give it to your insurance company. I said, heck no. He said, excuse me? I said, no way. Write up that report. I'll have it for my files, but I am not calling my insurance company. No. I'm going to go down the street tomorrow. I'm going to find, let's see. I'm going to find Lopez. Not Pookie. I'm finding Lopez. Lopez gonna give me a deal. He gonna be fast. And it's gonna be good. Lopez. I support black businesses all the time, so don't come after me. But when it comes to certain things, I'm going to Gonzalez, Lopez, Rico. Juan and them. That's where I went. And I went over there. Safe Life is there. Safe Life is blah, blah, blah. Safe Life wanted $400 for that little back window. I said, hey, Safe Life. Yes. Bye-bye. Click. You got to be crazy. And I drove up the street to Juan. Juan said, hey, 150? I said, yeah, you my man. And Juan fixed me. My car was in there 15 minutes. I clocked it. 15 minutes. I was in and out. $150. And that window, that was, y'all remember when this happened, y'all? That was before the summer came. And I haven't had a problem with that window ever since. Juan took care of me. Did I call the insurance company? Heck it to the no. Not me. I had 3 flats in 1 year when I called for roadside assistance from State Farm. And State Farm called me and said, hey, we've got to cancel your... I said, excuse me? Yeah. I said, never had an accident. Yeah, but you called us 3 times. I said, excuse me? Yeah, we treat each one as a claim. I said, excuse me? They said, yeah, we have to cancel you. I said, y'all are a bunch of fools over there. Why do I pay for the roadside assistance with y'all if I can't use it? And the reason why I called you 3 times, because the first time I got a flat and y'all came and the guy couldn't get it worked. He couldn't fix it for me. So I had to call the second guy for him to fix it. That was 2 claims? Yes, sir. I said, yeah, it's time for me to leave. Excuse me? I said, yeah, it's time for me to leave. I'm going to get legal with Eagle, or I may have to call Liberty Bibbity. I'm gonna have to get Mayhem. Mayhem, is that his name? Mayhem. I'm gonna have to call Mayhem. No, and I'm not using y'all no more. Cancel that. I'm going with AAA. Because that's ridiculous. So that's why I don't call my insurance for stuff like that. Nope. It's got to be a major accident. My head had to be halfway severed, and I'm upside down, blood gushing everywhere. and that car is totaled. And then I still might be like, well, let me think about this. Come on, Eryka, I'm telling you. State Farm was crazy. And because I threatened that I was leaving, they said, well, let's make a deal with you. We're gonna watch you for the next 6 months. I said, excuse me, I'm not no little kid. We're gonna watch you for 6 months. I couldn't believe them. I'm gonna be half dead and be like, because my arm is gone, so I gotta use the other 2 fingers to find my phone. It's bit time. Hello, State Farm, please. Mr. Jones, yes, this is me. You've been with us for 20 years, yes. You've been good. Yeah, I know. Listen, I need help. What's going on? If I make a claim, what's going to happen? When my rate goes up, it probably will. Okay, well, goodbye. I won't even make a claim. I won't even make a claim. I'm going to call Liberty Bibbity. Let me go, y'all. I've been on here an hour and 26 minutes and I ain't even ate yet. I put a song on Patreon. Did y'all see it? It's called True Love Waits. For those of you who remember that conference they did years ago, True Love Waits. Go to patreon.com, Theological Jones Show on the piano room, and I put up a cute song. Yes, this is how Liberty Mutual is. You only get 2 calls for roadside, and after this, yep, rip off. Just had a house built. All Mexican workers that work 7 days a week and finished on time as projected. I deal with people that can get things done. My builder had a Mexican team because he said they're dependable. Patricia, I'm telling you. I called Juan. Juan hooked the brother up. Juan hooked me up. And Juan's helper was Lopez. Lopez was like, yeah, give us 5 minutes. I was like, 5 minutes? Yeah, give us 5 minutes. I didn't ask for all state, just give me my state. All right, y'all. I think I've upset you enough. All right? So you all can text me. I'm sorry. Email me. I'm going to go on Patreon in the finance room. It's only $5. There's a whole lot of teaching on Patreon in the finance room. There's about 100 or so people over there. $5. I got so much stuff in there, power packed, all kind of stuff in the finance room. Go back and do your first works over and go through those videos. I put a lot of stuff up there. So I'm gonna go back there and I'm gonna talk about a 10-year plan that you all can do on patreon.com, Theological Jones Show in the finance room. Let's talk about the 10-year plan. Different things that you could do. There's a whole bunch of calculators on Google that you could put in the calculator and show you your 10-year plan. Y'all like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. You keep making up these excuses about what you can't afford to do. But yet you've got 7 subscriptions to some online streaming thingy. 7. Yet you keep saying what you can't afford. You're living above your means. You got a wardrobe budget that you don't need. We DoorDash once and twice a day. We Uber and Lyft when we can catch the bus or the train. And we take our car and it's $4.50 for gas and we drive all over the city, places we don't even need to go. And we got bicycles and it's summertime outside. We can take our bikes. My car sits in front of my house. Well, it's at my house. My car sits at my house 90% of the week. 90% of the week, my car sits at my house. I don't go everywhere. I just don't. Because it's too expensive. So I stay here at home, or I put my gym shoes on and walk. When I see these white folks riding bicycles all over the place, I said, this is why. You know what this boy doing? Bobby is riding his bike because he too got a 10-year plan. And he don't want to cut into his money. And he gonna ride his bike for years. Because he know one day he gotta retire. And he ain't got to worry about his bills. Because he saved up for it. He invested it. So people, many of you are not going to do anything. You're not going to do nothing. You're going to watch this show, hour and a half. You're going to laugh. You're going to say, that's true, brother. And then you're going to turn this off and do nothing. I expect that. But there's just a couple of you who will finally do something. And come up with a plan so that you can walk off that job and enjoy your retirement. And take a trip somewhere and enjoy the beach with your loved one. And enjoy your grandchildren. Watch them grow. Go to their graduations. Teach them how to drive. Get your granddaughter's ears pierced. Teach them how to cook. And enjoy your money. That's my plan. 10 years. So God, we do love you. Boy, do we give your name the praise. I've said enough. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, y'all. I'll see you later on. See you on Patreon. Not tonight. I did one last night. I'll see you on Patreon tomorrow for apologetics class. And all these other places I'll be. Wherever that is. Good night.
My name is Donald. I'm 47 years of age.
He's got something to say. He's got something to say. Sir Walter Jones. Sir Walter Jones. A week, always on time, but his time is not free. So Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics have you jumping out your seat. He's got something to...
The 4 Women That Men Desire by Sir Walter Jones is a women's guide to men. The author's endeavor to expose men fundamentally with his perspective on the types of women that men truly desire. He has meticulously penned a brilliant and controversial read, bold in its assertion that all women fall into one of 4 categories. Girl A, the side chick. Girl B, the mistress. Girl C, his soulmate. Or Girl D, his fatal attraction. And when a woman walks into a room, her category is showing. The 4 Women That Men Desire is funny, informative, and enlightening. It is a quick read and a must-have for your library. Head over to Amazon.com for your copy.